All right, guys, what's up? So I'm back in the leather shop today working on some leather pieces for some customers. And from time to time, you guys have seen that we like to do like tutorial videos, especially when you guys ask us questions. Well, a young man named Travis is starting out his leather business, and Travis is a new follower to our page, and he wants to see a video of our leather distressing, from the distressing to the oiling to the finishing, and even the stitch work that we do on our cuffs. So this right here, if you look right here, this is one of a leather cuff that we're going to be doing today. This is actually part of a new line that we've got here at Forj'd Leather. It's a new line that we've got. It's the Martha Craigie line. Check Martha out. I will link her Instagram page in the description below. I will also be linking all the products that we use in the description below for you guys to check out. That way, if you like the way these things look, you'll know all of the actual products that we use to create this our leather pieces. So these cuffs are going to be put together like this. This is actually a chocolate Pro Dye by Tandy. That's the color of this. This color is considered dark chocolate, or dark brown, excuse me. I don't know why they call it dark brown. I guess I could put a little heavier coat on it to make it dark, but it's really not that dark. It has more of a cognac look when it's actually finished. And this piece, this is just black. All these are Pro Dyes. We only use Pro Dye when we dye our leather. We never use any other type dyes, because the Pro Dye allows us to do dip dye method. If you dip dye with other dyes, what you wind up with is basically a super dark, almost black cuff. But that's a different video. So here's how these pieces will go together. Give you guys a closer look. This is how they will go together, and we're going to put a distressed finished look on these, and we're going to do so, the distressing portion, we're going to do it by using this, a hand sander. I know that seems crazy. A lot of people are asking, why would you use a hand sander that's going to destroy the leather? I actually had a lady not too long ago ask me about that very thing. Doesn't it tear up the texture of the leather? No, it does not. I thought it would when I first started doing this. I actually learned from the guy who designed the jackets for the Tom Hardy version of the last Mad Max movie. And what he did was he basically took the leather jackets that they wore in the film and drug it behind a car. The guy literally put the jackets on a rope and drug them in a parking lot, around the parking lot, through gravel, going across dirt, and literally just tore these jackets all to pieces. And they looked fantastic. If you watch the film, they really looked fantastic. You want to use the same pressure throughout the entire process. You don't want to lean in too hard on one side and not on the other side. You want kind of a uniform distressed look. I know that sounds a little crazy. Some people are like, does it look fake? No, and I'm going to show you all here in just a minute just how good it actually looks. Okay, I want to do this. I want to throw this in here real quick, kind of like a little bonus track for y'all. So this is another bracelet that we offer up at our shop. This is our Mandalorian. This is Mandalorian font. I'll actually throw a link up to these bracelets if you are interested in checking them out in the description. If you don't have a power sander, I know some people are probably saying, I don't have a power sander. I don't want to buy a power sander. They can be a little pricey, especially some of the more notable name brands. But if you don't want that, don't want to take that option, or if you're too scared to try it out, because I understand, because it can be kind of intimidating, putting a power sander to leather. You can actually take right here, even strokes. This is about I think this is like a 100, maybe a 120 grit sanding block. Just go over it. The result is going to be extremely close to what you would get with the power sander. You do have to lean in just a little bit more than you normally would with the sander. The power sander, it really, there we go. It's kind of the same deal. And you're going to see where there's areas where there was raised up places in the leather, right there where it's kind of a lot lighter, but that's okay. It's all good. Sometimes I'll go over it with like one of the finer grits after that, just to kind of smooth everything out. And when you use sanding, when you do that, like the eyes right here of the logo, it helps really bring the eyes out. So you get a lot more detail when you kind of go over it. You just kind of knock off that top layer. Whew, that looks good. All right, so now we're going to move on to the oiling portion of this. The oiling, I recommend oiling. A lot of people say you don't have to oil your leather. I recommend doing it, especially for the distressing part. When you distress leather, I think it gives it a much richer look. And this is, once the oil kind of sets in, I usually like to rub mine, work it in a little bit, just like that. See how it's made it much darker? Now, you're going to set this to the side and you're going to let it dry. You're just going to let it sit over here and kind of soak in. Now, a couple things you need to know about leather. When you're doing a distress method, if you want to distress your leather, these are the ones that come out really, really cool to me. Leather's expensive. I know it is, but look at that. It's just, that just looks, that's just got that vintage distressed look. You are going to want to use a good quality leather. I'm going to link some of the leather that I recommend. It'll be in the description below if you want to try it out. It's not crazy expensive. It's in sheets. These are some other bracelets we have to go out today. And this is basically just paper towel. You can use sponges. I find that paper towels are much easier. Like I said, you want to use a leather that is a quality leather. And the reason I say that is when you have cheaper quality, a lot of times there's blemishes, bumps, scars in the leather. This is all cowhide, genuine cowhide leather. I just in case somebody asks, I don't use fake leather, faux leather, pleather, or whatever it's called. I don't use it, but I have in the past, and it just does not render out a good product at all. It doesn't. I mean, that right there, that's just, we're gonna put some Resolene on here in just a minute, and that just pops. One more thing I want to tell you guys, take my edger here. You'll see one thing when you oil your leather, make sure the oil gets in all of the engraving area, especially if you're using a laser engraver. I use a laser engraver. And same thing if you're using stamping or embossing methods. You want to make sure the oil gets down in all of that. Always make sure the oil gets in that. Okay. All right, so we'll be back here in just a little bit after this dries and we'll do the finish work. All right, so when it comes to Resolene, I use these foam brushes. You gotta kind of be careful. I'll put a link to the description of the brushes that we use. The good thing about foam brushes, you can actually just wash them out, reuse them. Eventually they will break down over time. I've had some that you can only use a couple times and they break down, but these right here, I can't remember the brand name, but like I said, I'll throw a link up to where we get them. And you can reuse these over and over again. Just wash them out. Warm water, comes clean. Really cheap, really inexpensive. Best way to lay down your Resolene right here. All right, so we've let the oil kind of sit in. We've buffed these up. Now it's time to do our Resolene. Dump off that little bit extra. What Resolene is kind of like wood finishing. If you've ever worked with wood, you've sanded it, you've stained it, you've sanded it, you've got it like you like it, and then you put a finish on it. Resolene is basically an acrylic base. That looks fantastic. You're going to have the urge to, I want to go back over it and do it again, but one steady, even coat. That is your goal. That's all you're looking for right there. Make sure you get the Resolene in all the lettering, engraving, embossing, whatever. That way, everything is uniform and even. We'll set these aside. We're gonna throw some stitches in these bad boys, some snaps, and we'll be done. All right, so we've got the distressing portion and finishing part of this done. So now what you want to do, you want to get the sewing. This is leather weld. Like I said, description. I love leather weld. So I'll put that right there. Love it. This stuff is amazing and dries super quick. As you can see right here, my laser system, I use my laser system to go ahead and drill the holes for me, so I don't have to worry with using a fork or a rake or however they call it to punch mine. But if you use a rake or a fork, it's, you know, leather punch. Either way works. Just gonna lay that right down there on that like this. These are actually leather sewing needles. They're kind of blunt on the end. They're not super sharp. I don't use, I'll show you in a minute. I use a Cowboy Outlaw to sew my leather. I'm probably about to move up a little bit and get me an automatic sewing machine. But I use these needles to sew a needle, just kind of stick them through there. Just kind of hold it in place while the glue dries. Once that glue dries, I can put it on my Cowboy Outlaw and I don't have to worry about the top piece sliding around there. We'll let that dry. Last but definitely not least, we're going to throw in some snaps right here. A little snap setter. There's one. And pop it in. Throw it down. These are line 20 snaps. On most of my bracelets, we only use line 20s. That tends to work out pretty good for us. There it is. Wow, look at that. All right, nice. What? Awesome sauce. All right, guys, there you have it. That's how we do our vintage leather cuffs, the distress work, the oiling, the finishing, the stitching. That's how we do it. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you got something out of the video. Like I said, links to all of the products that we use will be in the description below. Give us a like, comment if this video helped you out some way. If there's anything we can do to help you grow your leather business, comment below, let us know. Hit the notification bell so you'll see anytime we put up videos. We want to do more videos. We really just want to know what you guys want to see. Anyway, until next time, guys, stay safe. Check out these pics of the final products. Love y'all. God bless. I am out.